drawing session with Ferdous Kalik with Paintology drawing app. So Paintology, as you know, is a Google app available from the Google Play Store, and it allows you, and its aim is to teach you drawing techniques, not the use of tools. The problem with, well, it's not a problem, but many beginners have a tendency to start because they don't know much of the fundamentals and techniques of developing the art because they're just simply beginning. And so they do the next best thing, which happens to be the, which happens to be the tools. So the tools allow you to do some of the familiar stuff that you may already know that makes a good traditional artist, such as someone with pencil and paper, and which includes tools such as autocorrections. So when you're drawing a line, let me go back, discard this. This was a drawing I did earlier for the one brush paintings you might have seen. So let me get a draw here on the home page, sorry, of the app, blank canvas. And then, so what they're looking for are, for example, something like this, like, this is wiggly, right? There's no autocorrection associated with this drawing stroke, but many opt to, like, for example, see that wiggly line? They choose to correct it. And this is primarily the reason why digital art looks computer generated and animated, not real. And so then that's one of the tools. And there are other tools like blending, filling in, for example. Let me show you. Like, for example, when they want to do a face, they fill these two lines in here. Because I'm a very advanced user of those digital drawing apps that have these tools, like Photoshop. I've been using for 30 years. But I choose not to draw with it because drawing for me is the pleasure of drawing just like the traditional methods. So they join these two lines together and then they click here and it becomes filled, yeah, like that. So then again, it becomes artificial. So what happens with people of digital art is that they choose to make a complete drawing like this, and then they choose to make it look realistic or natural by adjusting the areas with my hand, which is quite odd. It's very ironic because I did pose that question once to Quora, and I'm an active user of Quora. I've written over 1,000 questions related to I've written 1,000 answers actually related to questions in drawing general and digital drawing. So you can find my profile in Quora. Also go to paintology.quora.com. So I did pose that question, and then they came back and told me exactly the same thing. They said it looks too photo. They used the quotation mark, too photo-like. And then I know what they meant by photo-like. It wasn't meant to be like a photo that you take with your phone, anything like that. Just photo-like means it's just perfect. Every edges, lines, and I told you why that is. And then she said that she drew a picture of her daughter, and then she had to go by hand fixing the toenails or something like that, to make it look natural. And I thought, wow, this is going to be a good debate here. Let me tell her that I do this entirely from hand from the beginning. And then, sadly, no response. I was hoping to have a debate, which means that most people will not know of this technique that I'm going to show you, which is doing by hand. But many traditional artists, will know what I'm doing when I draw by hand. Everything by hand, you know? So there's a reason why these tools here are like this and why the color palette is like that here. Because when I'm drawing, let's say I make 10,000 strokes in a particular drawing, I am accessing tools probably few percent of the time. Whereas in most digital drawing, people are accessing tools through pressing the button to get the color palette and all that, and then getting all the other tools probably 25% of the time. So therefore, all my creativity goes into the drawing. So this is I mean, I've explained many reasons why I draw like that, with many examples. I'm not talking out of thin air. I have pretty good example. This one I did yesterday on this phone, which is a Samsung Note 10. There are plenty of examples you can see, loads of videos, so anyone can draw on the phone. I'll show you another one. This one I did yesterday. It's a lovely kingfisher catching a fish, and I used a reference image to do that. And tracing and using a reference image is a superb, a must-have tool to develop your skills in drawing. When you're a beginner, a lot of people have these notions of how drawing should be done, and then they see all these very advanced people on YouTube who take a blank canvas and turns it into a masterful piece of art, and they think that everyone should be drawing like that at that level. But you ignore the fact that they had developed these skills, and they only developed these skills through so many methods. They're creative people, so they will find any method to improve their skills. I've used projection methods, I've used so many ways to improve my drawing, and also they are deeply knowledgeable about the tools they use when they draw. Majority of beginners will simply say, "This is all I can do. I can only do a line like this, and then a line like that, and I can create the shape like that, and that's it." You know, that's just silly, isn't it? That's like saying I can take the car out of the driveway and that's it. You know, there's so much to it, and if you make the presumption that you know what you're talking about, you're really limiting yourself. You're going to first of all do two things. One, stop drawing because there's nothing else in the process. No, you don't see any other improvements because you're not open to it. And secondly, you will do one of the most unjustifiable thing to yourself, which is the most unjustifiable thing to yourself, which says, I don't have any talent. The other person, the people who do art have a lot of talent, and therefore I'm not going to pursue it because I don't. So what you've done just there is you have completely dismissed the real possibility of picking up this skill for real reasons rather than a reason to bury it under the carpet, which is extremely sad because if you take that approach to any other skill, you will practically do exactly the same thing. People will just not take the skill set any further because they put a limitation on it. So this is a skill set that I will teach you that is very easy to learn. And the whole idea is that when I create a drawing app, this is one of this Paintology happens to be my drawing app. I developed it 5 years ago, the help of developers, of course. I actually come from a technology background. I am not a what do you call it, a an artist by formal training. I just learned it. The fact that I can take anything very far is because of my mindset. I don't have limitations like majority of people. I don't stop because I'm getting bored, or I don't stop if something is going wrong. If I really want to, I can take it all the way. And I have a number of skill sets apart from this, which I can go on and on. You've probably seen me. I published my book on the homepage. That's something I did in just within the last year. Never written a book before. You can see here. This is my book here, and I've written this sci-fi epic because as you can tell, I'm a very sci-fi person. I love science fiction. I'm a technologist. It's a full novel I wrote in the space of 2 months, actually, and it's been very well received. So you can check it out. And so that's just one of and I find that I'm driven by more by the passion and desire to excel myself, and in the creative arena. I mean, apart from the book, I've written poetry as well, and would you believe it, within this year as well. So again, I can go on about my skills, but you're here to learn and improve your skills. So this is the home page of the Paintology drawing app, and you can see there are tutorials and tutorials. The app is not like any other app. You go to another app, they present you with a drawing app, and then you go to the draw section and away you go, right? And that's it. They don't interact with you. The developers of the app did not fashion their app to cater to you, whereas Paintology does. It's all been designed with the purpose in mind to improve art techniques. If you think art is developed by tools, you will be quite shocked when I show you some of the artwork. And when you look at my artwork, you think like a woman, when I put one of my paintings up, was, sort of indirectly accused me of image manipulation and that. And then I said, "What? It's an odd comment to make. Are you saying that you shouldn't draw paint using the computer medium or the digital medium, paint flowers?" And then she had a look at what I did, and then she goes, she did a backhanded way of apologizing, saying, "Oh yeah, you're an exception. You've got very wonderful skills." And all that. You see, people are quick to judge. That's the problem. And many traditional artists are quick to judge on the digital medium. And I come from a traditional. You should see my artwork. They are hanging on the wall of my sister's house. Many artwork on many types of medium: acrylics, watercolors, charcoal, pencil, pastel, you name it. So that's why I bring to this digital medium traditional artists who can also find that the notion of digital drawing is not based on many of the beginners who start out, or many of the traditional artists who start out and then fall off the cliff because they think that you need the tools to do that. It's just that they don't know how to use or make use of the tools, which is what I'm going to show you. So this section, tutorials, consist of many tutorials that you'll find here, right? And these tutorials, 317, you can see here, opens up and allows you to pick colors. You can zoom in and then pick the color 2 here, change the brush size, and rotate, and then make it look comfortable. 20. You can go to 21 color here, and then this is just like paint by numbers, wonderful to draw with, and it's designed with the pure purpose of making you improve your drawing strokes. You don't want to need correction tools. There are many paint by numbers where people go like this, number 16, and they click on it and it's filled. I mean, where's the fun in that? It's really, you don't improve anything, but some people do like it. You know, if you enjoy that sort of thing, you're not really looking to for improving your drawing in the first place. But this is designed to improve your drawing. Okay, go to one, two, you know, and all these colors they can paint, and then you can save it and continue the drawing again. So these tutorials, if you look at it, it's actually mapped. Look at this one, right? This is mapped to the number 8135, and each of them have been categorized, and 8135 is the number that will allow you to come to this tutorial without searching for it. And this is for the benefit of the Google Classroom. I'm going to show you here, which has been set up, a free classroom. There, Google Classroom, you can see here. So this is a free link you'll find in the description, somewhere in the middle or below. And here is teaching you. Remember, it's not teaching you about paintology. Try and remove that out of your head. It's teaching you fundamental skills in art drawing, core skills in tones and values, volume, shapes, form, everything that requires you to become what I have become from being a no digital, not being able to draw in digital art, but being able to draw to the level where I do so now. And hopefully you will probably go well beyond that. So these have all been associated with those tutorial numbers which you can search for and get to those tutorials. So you complete this tutorial, submit it, and then the teacher can able to see your basic work and give you directions, and then you'll improve a lot more rapidly this way. If you are looking to learn the fundamentals of art, believe me, this is a free course. You don't even have to pay for it. But if you did want to learn fundamentals of art locally, you will have to pay for it, and you'll find yourself that they're talking about exactly the same thing as I'm doing here. So that's the Google Classroom, and the other thing I want to show you is so this one. So to get to, there's a very important page for those of you who've invested their time in watching this live streams, and some of you will have been following me for all these daily live stream sessions that I do, and I've been keeping a log of it in this page. So you go to the home page, daily step-by-step video tool, paintology.com, click on that, the link there, come to this page, and on this page are all the information regarding all the previous live sessions, including the completed drawings. You'll see here I've done this drawing, completed this drawing. This is the Kingfisher, and you can go, it goes all the way back, and you can see some of these completed drawings. There's a drawing of Chris Pratt, I think, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then there's a bear. This is in landscape mode, so I'll show you how to create this fur-like effect. See, all these drawings can be easily mistaken for not digital art, but something else, yeah? So here, there, I've done that, and then I started off doing completed drawing. There, look at this one. I really enjoyed this one, the sunset. That was done so quickly and so easily. It's something you could do as well with no trouble at all. If you look at it carefully, you see it's got these look at this carefully. It's basically the same as artwork. When you go to a museum, you stand afar and the whole artwork comes together, and then when you get close enough, it's a mishmash of colors that doesn't look as though it's properly done. And that's exactly how some of the great artists of our times have done. They produce it on a big canvas so they can get away with doing little work at the high resolution level, at the lower. But in our case, you can see most of my drawings are really scribbles when I go down to it, and then they all appear great. So drawing is that level of experience, yeah. So for this drawing session, it's quite a few. I always put up something up ahead, and I tell you 20th October, which is today, and we're going to do a colorful bird on twig 8 a.m., meaning that we're going to start this 8 a.m. GMT, which is just 20 minutes ago, and then reference image here. So I'm going to download this image. So I typically work in portrait mode, and then you'll be able to go to the first part, produce, click on that, and you can see that I'm talking. You can see I'm talking, yeah, which is quite nice to know that YouTube does a great job of recording and doing live streams. So this is the live stream right now that's going on, and hopefully you've downloaded the reference image and you're going to draw along with me and then learn so much that you never thought was possible. This is typically the way I draw, and on my Note 10 phone, and this with a finger, but I'll use a stylus. You can use a finger. If you're drawing quite often, always good to carry a cheap stylus with you. You don't need anything expensive. Man, a lot of people of digital art go on. You need this, you need that, and then eventually you're spending thousands, and then you're likely to give up without even really understanding what's involved. And this is a new form of digital art, which I'm hoping will attract many of the traditional artists who they have a bad rap with digital art because they feel digital art requires technical knowledge. And when you see me draw, you'll see that I'm spending all my time, practically all my time, just simply drawing. And then the tools I use are nothing but the brush and resizing the brush. And then the last drawing I didn't even use the opacity, the density setting, so I stuck to that. So you can see the drawing of the lion's head that I did, black and white. And so you'll be able to see for yourself that it's nothing technical, especially the way I'm drawing, the methods and techniques I'm going to show you. So what else can I show while I'm on this page? There's the Cora platform, yeah. So you can go to paintology.cora.com, and you can see this one. I'm just going to paintology.cora.com, and you can see this is a drawing I did of the lion's head, and I didn't use any opacity setting. It was almost like using ink, but zooming in and being able to see real details and being able to reproduce it. So that's where it is. So this you'll find a lot of drawings on this that I've done. I usually update this on a daily basis, so you can keep up to date. And do please follow me on the paintology.cora.com if you want to get notifications of new drawings and latest thing. And believe me, over the 2 months I've been doing this, I have really improved my artwork. And even though I'm reasonably proficient, I have learnt some techniques that I don't know if I should be telling you, but I have learnt some techniques. And most artists will go on providing paid tutorials for this. So this is what you're getting at this moment in time are free classes, and I'm not charging for it. But eventually, as you know, I'm doing a lot developing the app, not going paid, but updating, uploading the content, all for the people to enjoy the pleasure of drawing and like the way I do. But eventually, I'll have to monetize it. So take advantage of what's free right now. Everything's free, but eventually you're lucky that you come at this time, but I will have to monetize it because I'm not going to be paying out of my pocket all the time, is it? I mean, it doesn't make sense, does it? You'd have most people think I'm really silly providing all this for free, but this is why I like to see growth and people being attracted by this for good reasons. And money is something that you shouldn't put it in front of people if they are really appreciating it. But anyway, so that's in the future. So I'm not gonna say any more about that. So let's. Oh, there's a community section. So if we go to the community, see, there's some people that are trying to get to learn, to get to grips with Paintology. You see, they're learning. You see, so I really enjoy seeing people's work, and you can go and see their work here, right? So a lot of people who show their artwork, and you can join this community. There's thousands of people who posted here, and you can post your artwork. And if you do, I would probably come and review it. The other thing is, I am since both my channels have reached 100,000 subscribers. It's growing thanks to all your support and people who are coming to the site and enjoying the videos and hopefully learning through the live stream. I have I need like artists who good at block coloring and good at paintology. So there are some job openings for you to come and show your skills in using paintology because I can't. You can't imagine me, the founder, doing this all the time. Is it managing? It can become very stressful. The development of the app, promoting, marketing, and doing this content and all that, just quite tasking. But I would like some people, early pioneers, to join in with me, and hopefully you can send it in through comments on the YouTube or post it on community, and then just mention my name at Produce, okay? So when you put it up there, just put at Produce, okay? So this will allow me to actually look for this piece of art and of your work, and then I'll be able to comment. You can write something about that. Okay, so without further ado, let's draw. And so I'm going to open up draw, and it's got a blank canvas overlay. Overlay is an interesting aspect. It means that the drawing is actually at the same, the reference image is actually at the same level as your drawing. So I'm going to show you this very quickly. Look there. Right. So here you see, it's at the same level. There's no trace bar. Or if you want to go into Discord, let's go to trace, and then you can see that it's separated by this manner. You got the reference image there, which you have a trace bar, which operates very much like tracing that you've come across in physical, traditional, but it's way more versatile and powerful. That's the beauty of digital medium, is that based on my artistic skills and the technology, I've been able to bring this application to you with the notion of you really appreciating what digital drawing is all about. There's no negativity. If you think the negativities are there based on other people's reading and thinking, you'll probably not come across this. Everyone's thinking the old way of thinking. When I do digital drawing, I don't look at it any more than traditional. I'm using a stylus drawing. Okay, so what if I'm drawing on a glass surface? It's actually better because I can glide more quickly, and I don't think it's a different medium, of course, but it's, to me, It's way more versatile. It's the reason why I can do photorealistic drawings. I can't imagine me having a 6-inch screen like this and drawing paper, a paper and pencil and drawing photorealistically as I can on this phone. And the reason I can do this, of course, and get to this type of level, yeah. So the reference image is this, is in the top half, and your drawing is in the bottom half. That's how it works. So let's go here and there. Can you see it? So your drawing is done on this, okay? And then I typically use the line brush, even though there's quite a few. You can typically use the line brush for demonstrating. And then the line brush comes with a density setting here, which I may or may not use, but this density is the all-encompassing, powerful technique of having learning shades and tones. And I'll show you that. But shades and tones can be also replicated using the color picker. Okay, and that is what block coloring is. You may have heard of block coloring, but block coloring tunes your brain into understanding shades and tone. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Well, we're going to keep the cursor in the top half. If you want to know more about block coloring, you can check out my channels, search for block coloring, and also read some of my Paintology blog. So the problem is many people have a tendency to the quick fix. That's the problem with a lot of people is they want a quick fix because of this fast world. And these quick fixes, you need to slow down sometimes in order to make rapid progress. I'm going to say that again. You need to slow down in order to make rapid progress. What that means is you don't make rapid progress through speed. Because even though I'm an incredibly fast artist, I have learned you need to think before you act. And thinking naturally means being open. If you don't think, you're allowing your brain to propel you forward, and you make quick decisions that fall on the wayside. And these decisions could be crucial to the development of your skills. So you might start thinking, oh, he's a philosopher now as well, is he? Okay, well, the thing is, I like reading books as well. That's the reason I wrote a book in the first place. But again, here, if you're quick to judge, then you're probably going to have a path of frivolous, superficial entries to skills and that, and you're probably not going to develop anything that you can say this is mine. I can say this is mine, you see, because I've done a number of things and I can take it beyond other people, and that's what makes me tick. But if something else makes you tick, then by all means go ahead. But I think eventually you will get to an age where you'll regret making these hasty decisions or whatever. But anyway, that's just philosophy. I'm not here to talk about philosophy. So let's look and see how we're going to draw this bird. First of all, I'm going to have the cursor position on the top half. You see that center point? I'm going to have it at the top half here. Right, and then I'm going to pick, I've got a 20% and I'm setting this 100%. So you can follow along to this. And look what happens. See that? I've actually picked a color of that blue. Okay, and then I picked a color of that blue there. So that's all I'm doing. What I'm doing is just picking these blue colors. You may think that these colors are the same, but they're not. They're actually different, right? So I'm just picking this, and then you'll be able to see that these colors may be going towards a gradient. See how that went to a gradient? Different colors. That's the color. That's the real color that it's disappearing into. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just picking up these colors and transferring this to my drawing canvas. Nothing complicated. And then I'm going to avoid the bird. Right, so here, and then pick the color picker. Why am I picking the color picker here? Because I'm getting the local color tones of that reference image. So what I've done is I picked these colors and managed to transfer it to my canvas. This is what I have so far. Okay, and then I can go over it again and so there, yeah. You can see these colors, and then don't go too venture too far out. Just get these colors and keep stick to it here. See how these colors change? It's amazing. And then everywhere you press it, you might have a different color. Let's say I pick another color. Look, it will change. Look, I'm picking this color, it's changed. See the variation of the tones that are happening. So I'm just using this brush size to lay down these tones. Very small strokes, not tiny, but small strokes to keep these tones confined to the tones that I'm seeing. Even a dot is probably good enough to get the tones and to the gradients of the tone, yeah? So if you really want to understand tones, this is the way to understand tones, yeah? Look, I'm using dots now to make sure I replicate. Look at that. Look how there's change. Because when I use a line, remember what's happening. I'm picking a tone, the point where my stylus or finger rests, and then I'm dragging that color all the way. And in that distance that I cover, the gradient of the actual reference image might change. It's very easy. I mean, the explanation is a little too complicated, but using it is so much easier. It's like paint by numbers, but it's on steroids, you know? Paint by numbers, but it's really on steroids. Look at the color tones I picked. Look at it. Look at the different tones I picked. You probably thought, wow, I didn't know that, but that's the reason why the real world has so much depth and volume, the world around us. And that's why we have 4K TV with billion colors, and there's a reason for that, so we can see the world for what it is truly. I mean, compare the TVs we had 20, 30 years ago, and you'd be like shocked at the resolution. You'd probably be surprised that when you find out that your grandmother's grandparents were watching TV at that low resolution and tiny screens, right? And now we have billions of colors, and we have a certain expectation of what what the actual movie is going to be like, or it's really engaging because the because the technology has allowed us to capture all these tones of the real world, yeah. And same thing with drawing. The technology will allow us to capture. This technology has allowed you to capture these tones that I'm drawing here. And that is what tonal drawing is. The traditional people have tried to explain tones in many ways, but it becomes harder because they're not using the tools that I'm using. They're using digital. So I decided that I'm not going to keep this. So I'm going to take that branch out. It's not totally unnecessary to keep that, right? What's the point? So I've taken it out. This is my drawing that I'm doing, right? So again, color picker, and then just lay down the colors. Color picker, lay down the colors. Color picker, lay down the colors. And look at the tones. You may think that these are all the same tones. If you do, that means you're obviously at the early stages of understanding what tones are. But believe me, you feed that into a computer, you're going to see quite a few hexadecimal codes. Okay, so those are the tones we picked. Yeah, and then that's all we need to do right now. Let's finish these areas that I haven't touched, and then see if we've done that. It's perfect. And then there's a little bit we haven't touched here. Okay, lovely. Look at that, lovely. So now what do we do next? Well, we should now go to that little birdie. And look at that, let's look at this birdie here. Such a superb range of colors. Purple, red, green, and black, brown, even olive color, brown. It's an incredible range of colors. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why we appreciate these little creatures that fly around. Okay, so let's go. What are we gonna do? Well, I have a number of techniques. Like they say, there's several ways to skin a cat, right? So I'm gonna say, well, I'm trying to keep in mind with what level of experience you are, because I do ask for feedback. But many of you, I don't know if you are actually doing this drawing with me or learning what I'm showing you. If you are, then you should tell me where level you are and what have you learned, and really probe and ask me if you can get any help. That some things you don't understand, because I'm not able to shape this Paintology app or show you anything if I don't get the right feedback. Okay, if a lot of you like my drawings, it's very flattering, but and it's nice to get warm comments regarding my drawing, but I would much rather appreciate positive feedback. Like for example, when someone's cooking and you tell them it needs a pinch of salt, or when you say, "Why did you add this origami instead of this?" Or something like that. Yeah. So it's that feedback that really helpful to the other party. That's what I'm looking for. If you can do that, I really appreciate it, because it will help me to make this tutorial more geared towards the audience that's watching it. Because otherwise, I'm probably shooting in the dark and saying it's way too advanced for users, or you probably do understand block coloring, or you don't. And then if you don't understand block coloring, you have to say where exactly. Otherwise, I'm unable to help you. Okay, so let's go back and now focus on the bird. Now, let's look at this bird's wing, this part, this beautiful red part. Look at the tones. How many tones can you see? I can see a lot of tones. I can see a yellow tone running across the edge of the feathers here, right? Oops, I'm actually drawing. I shouldn't. I can see a yellow tone. Yeah, let me actually take a black here and then take it down. I can see this yellow tone here. Can you see it? There. And then I can see this yellow here as well. Okay, and then I can see this tone here. Yeah, I don't know if you can, but I can see it. Uh, that's what. That's why people are good at drawing, others are not, because they can see these tones. I can see this tone here, right? This dark tone. Or generally, if you want to look at the whole dark tone, it's here. It's here, okay? That's where the tones are, yeah? And what else can you see? Can you see any other tones? Of course. I can see these darker tones here, right? And then here. And then this line here. I can see all that. That's why I take to my drawing. And then I can see an orange hue here. Right? Can you see that? Can you see that? That's what tonal understanding tones is one of the reasons why people are exceptional artists compared to artists that are just ordinary. Yeah? So here I can see red tones here, and then I can see some red tones. I can see a general dark, deeper red tone here, deeper red, deeper red there, okay? And this tone, red tone, is gradually going this direction and getting darker. I just know that because I've tuned my brain into drawing like this, and that's the reason why I can quite easily make photorealistic drawings unlike other artists, yeah? So on the digital medium and on the phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this size brush and clear some of the 2% I got. And then I'm going to try and replicate these colors. See how that changed? And you can see that. And then look at that there. And then this yellow tone. Remember I said I'm going to take that yellow tone? And there's these dark tones which comes from the background, nothing else. And while I'm doing this, I'm shaping the top of that feather. So I'm picking the color picker and look, going along here, I'm going to show you how these tones make up this. And then this dark tone here. If you don't believe me, now you can see it in practice. There, I'm going here and then I'm going to coming across that dark tone. Do you see how I did that? Dark tone. I was right because it is dark, and then there's this orange tone that goes here. Can you see the variation of these? Can you see the hue, the separation of the hue, light color? I'm trying to avoid that blacker tone here, the darker tone, and then here. So this is like tonal painting. If you take that to any art class, your art teacher, they will know what you're talking about if they haven't. They understand tones, yeah? Okay, there. You see that? Remember I said this was a darker tone here? So here, look what I'm doing there. Look how dark that is. This is the actual, if you don't believe me, that is the tone of that bird on that region. So, so basically I was right in telling you that these tones were dark. And then, but that's entirely based on my experience. I don't expect you to be that good in appreciating tones. Look how the colors change as well. It gets deeper red, right? And then this is darker, I was telling you, right? Darker, darker. It's the beauty of drawing is every time I show something, it's always different. I'm learning something myself as well. See that? Look at the tones. So this is really helping you. If you like drawing from reference, if you like drawing from landscapes, as many of the great artists did, you have to look at it and say, how can I transfer some of that natural beauty to my own drawing? And this is how you do it. Look at that. There, look. See? And then if I come here and show you this area here, watch what happens when I draw this, and then I draw with this color picker and I pick this color, right, and then I draw around it. Right there. Right, and then I draw this. Look at that. Look at the variation. So subtle, but you can see there's a darker red and there's a lighter red, and that's because of the exact tones that are happening underlying reference image. Okay? There. And then you'll be like amazed how many tones we've picked up. You may think that these are all similar, but believe me, they're so different. It's the reason why the natural world looks so beautiful to us. I don't know if you watch David Attenborough's Earth series, but it's a wonderful array of colors and just shows the beauty of the land and animals. It's like incredible. So what I do is I generally tune my brain to think of these colors and pick these colors, and then pick the lighter tones. I generally tune my brain to see how those lighter tones, and then pick the tones that are within that region. Yeah. So here, that's here. So this is all different tones, and I'm using a 2.5% brush. It's just to show you how to capture these varying tones on just that portion of the wing. And then of course we've got a lovely blue. You see that? So I'm trying to stay close to the tones that I'm trying to capture in that small circle. Right, and then we could zoom in even further. Can you see? As I zoom in, I can see tonal variations going on here, here, and there's a darker tone here. And I can see these tonal variations, and you will, in time, see these. And then you'll be able to do it really rapidly. And see and there's a lovely white tonal variation. Light, light. So here, and then look at this lovely, some kind of a darker tone, and then it gets a little lighter here. So we can do, this is in essence what our drawing is done. Look at this down there. You see that? So normally when I do it, I'm very rapid, and so I thought I'd slow it down for you guys, so you can see how I'm capturing these subtle tones. I just picked this in order to show you that it's very, this looks like uniform, but in reality there's a gradient, and you should look where these gradients are changing and how they're changing. Right, let's see what that looks like. See that little bird? See all the colors, wonderful colors. It's beautiful, isn't it? That's what we do. So this would be an exercise in tonal. So I want you to do this, right, and go through all of them. So did I have, oh yeah, I don't have much time actually. So what I'm going to do is, because I spent quite a bit of time telling you, you should hop onto the next channel. There's a link in the description, so where we can finish it. That will be done on the Paintology channel. Okay, so please, I'm going to end here and then finish this drawing the same manner as, so you can follow me, right? And then we will finish this bird in that next tutorial session. It's actually 5-6 minutes away, so please do join me, and don't forget to subscribe in my Felice channel. And then I look forward to seeing you in the next channel. Thank you. I'll see you shortly. Bye.